Hello and welcome. I am so grateful you are here. This is a topic that affects all of us, and it's an important topic to focus on. So I'm so excited to do that with you today. You know, our daily actions create our habits and routines. The habits and routines that we carry out daily create our daily lives. And our days just string together to create our life. So these routines that we adopt every day create our lives. And that sounds like it has so much weight, but that's because it does. I cannot stress the importance of our daily routines enough and how mindful and intentional we must be while creating them. My name is Sharon Otness, and I am the founder of Design Your Beautiful Life, where we design a life we don't need or want to escape from. I am a woman. I am a mother. I am a woman in recovery. I'm a holistic health coach, and I teach mindfulness. So with all of that said, I am just so grateful to be here yet again. I know how important it is to, create intentional habits. When I was going through my recovery process, I went into a 3-day recovery detox, medical detox. And I will tell you, when I came out of that and back home, I had to create some new habits and behaviors, and I needed to do it fast, or I knew my recovery was not going to work. So ever since then, it has been a continual process in creating more and more and more healthy habits. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. There's always something more to learn. There's always something more to implement. But I will tell you this, that just doing some just good routine habits and behaviors will help your brain be able to concentrate on the other things in your life that are equally important, because you can just get your routines down, and it just makes space so that, when you want to be creative, or you want to, really hone in on a project, your brain is able to handle that because it's not so cluttered. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to be going over different types of routines that we do every day. Now, we're going to sift through some ideas of how to create change in these routines for the better, and how you can do all of this in a way that sticks. Now, these are going to just be examples. You need to go through your own life and see what is helpful to you. So really, the most beneficial thing that you can do is follow along. Take some notes if you choose, and just maybe get inspired if you hear an area of your life that you feel needs a reset. These habits and routines are yours. They're yours only. This is not for anyone else. So creating your unique routines for your own life will set you up for success. Now, even if you just end up making a few minor tweaks to your routines, any progress is great progress. So are you ready? Let's get started. So we're going to start, just like I said, going through the day. Now, I actually work a lot with what I call the wellness wheel. So that means that we look at all aspects of your life in sort of a wheel shape. And it's not just what's on the end of your fork, although that's extremely important, and we're going to talk about it, but it's every relationship, spiritual, your money abundance, all the areas of your life that really create that well-rounded, balanced kind of life that I think that we aspire to. It may or may not be perfect, right? But it's for us, and us alone. So here is for your morning routine. Let's just start right there. One of the tricks of making habits stick is making changes in a manageable way. So trying to overhaul everything all at once, and I'm sure, maybe that's why you're here. You're like, I don't know why, I can't seem to get this concept. But oftentimes we just try to do too much at once. And trying to overhaul everything at once just leads to burnout. It's overwhelming. It's the opposite of what we're trying to do by introducing new healthy habits. So we're going to go over a framework of creating healthier habits in each area of your life that you can easily integrate into your day. That's what it's all about. Once they're part of your routine, they'll soon become part of your day-to-day, and you need to give it a little time. All right. So let's just start out by focusing on how to improve your morning routine. Why is that important? Well, the way you start your day sets the tone for your whole day. Setting up your days with a strong foundation will lead to a healthier, happier day. So here's a few small tweaks with significant results. First off, sip some water. I know you hear it all the time, but really starting your day with a tall glass of water is going to benefit you all day long. So better yet, maybe squeeze some fresh lemon in it to jumpstart your metabolism and start your day off right. I love to add a drop of lemon essential oil to mine, but whichever works for you. During these colder months, you can enjoy a hot cup of warm lemon water in the morning. I always just aim for kind of room temperature, maybe a little above. I do that all year long. Very, very cold water can be harsh on your system. So this warm lemon water, for instance, cleanses your system. It helps to improve digestion, just starts your day off with hydration, right from the get-go. And it feels cozy all at the same time. So it's a great way to start your day. Number 2 is stretch and center yourself. So maybe just start your day by spending 3 to 5 minutes stretching. You can even start this when you're still in bed. You're still kind of waking up. So use that stretching perhaps as a way to kind of wake up your body. It can be just so easy. A few simple yoga poses or just simple stretches, arm lifts and bending over a little forward fold, just maybe getting some, just rock your body, do a little dance, whatever works. It's just about awakening your muscles and priming them for the day ahead. Doesn't have to be formal at all. Make it simple. You'll be more likely you'll stick with it. I do this while I am getting my tea kettle water hot. So it's just sort of like what I call habit stacking and just, adding into one particular habit, which is, of course, for me, I need to always have hot water going in the morning. So I added in a little stretching and gratitude movement for myself. I started that years ago and I just stuck with it because it works. Okay, and then make sure to give your body good fuel. So a nourishing breakfast. And again, this is whenever you want to call it breakfast or whatever you want to call your morning meal. Or maybe the breakfast doesn't happen till afternoon if you are doing some sort of intermittent fasting. Again, this is for you. It's not, it's not about according to my schedule. So but a nourishing breakfast or first meal of the day can balance out your blood sugar levels. It also helps you just start your day off well. Think of it as a way to fuel your body for the day ahead, and choose something that just makes you feel good, something that doesn't cause you to crash and is simple to make, and first thing in the morning in particular, if that's when you're having your meal, you may not be as cognizant as you will be later in the day. So, keep it easy. And actually what's in this picture is very reminiscent of what I make for myself every morning. It's just what works for me. So this isn't so much about what it is you're eating, it's about how it makes you feel. And then don't forget to do something that makes you smile, something that's joyful. What a better gift to give yourself than adding some joy. So, whatever that is for you, pet your dog. I always give my little Max a hug. Hug your kids. Go for a walk. Listen to music you love. Turn some music on, or enjoy your breakfast in the backyard overlooking nature if you're able to do that. Just things that make you happy are the best way to start your day on the right foot. You can even squeeze in a little gratitude practice by writing down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for and adding into this in your routine. I also love a little app called Insight Timer. I will talk about it probably a couple times in this. It is my favorite app. It is free. And they have some really wonderful, like 5 to 10-minute gratitude meditations that are so easy to do. So maybe incorporate something like that. And for example, while you're making breakfast each morning, here's another kind of habit stacking example. So you're making your breakfast and use that time to think about 3 to 5 things that make you happy. Just make that a regular practice. If you have a moment and you want to write them down, great, but you don't have to. You can just, think them while you're doing something else. All right, we've had our morning routine. Let's go on to our midday routine. So lunch, midday routine, whatever you want to call it. Usually this lands sometime in the middle of the day. And it's a great time to do a quick check-in and reset the day when needed. So having a supportive lunch routine will help you tackle the midday well and finish the rest of your day strong. So why is this important? Well, it's not just another meal in a day. So don't think of it that way. Whether you work from home or you head out the door to the office each day, establishing a lunch or midday routine helps you keep healthy habits that just kind of carry through the rest of your day. So start off maybe by making a healthy lunch. Whether you're packing it to go or you're taking your lunch break at home, just choose wisely. I always am an advocate for just wholesome and fresh foods. They're going to give you more fiber to keep you feeling fuller for longer. It's not so much of, an exact recipe. It's more about, less processed, more whole, right? So wholesome and fresh foods, they give you that fiber, keep you feeling fuller for longer. And being satisfied with what you eat will help keep away that afternoon slump. So if you're depriving yourself for some reason, you're probably always going to be chasing that deprivation the rest of the day. So I don't encourage that kind of mentality. All right, and healthy doesn't have to be boring. Please don't think that. I mean, if you look at this picture, does that look boring? It sure doesn't to me. So try making maybe salads with bold flavors and crunchy ingredients. Bright colors are always appetizing. Maybe rolling your own sushi or some sort of a wrap or burrito, or making quinoa bowls topped with last night's leftovers. All great ideas, simple enough to make and very inviting to eat. Another thing that I think gets misrepresented is, where are you eating your lunch? So how about trying to change your view? If you work in an office, you might find yourself having lunch right at your desk. Maybe not optimal, right? But I know it's easy. But maybe form a healthier habit around getting up and just eating somewhere else. So if the break room isn't your style, go sit outside on a bench. If you're at home, sit down to eat at the table, try to leave the technology and screens behind. Make time to really enjoy your food, taste it, experience the nourishment from it. This is what we call mindful eating. Using this time mindfully will help you connect more to your meals, and even they'll help you digest better so that in the late afternoon, you're not feeling, oh, right? Nobody wants that feeling. I know that one of the things that I used to do when I was still working outside of the home, I was lucky that the company really valued us having an appropriate and nice looking lunchroom. So in the Pacific Northwest, once I moved back here, oftentimes it was rainy and wet. So maybe I would go ahead and eat in that lunchroom. But I always tried to make it a point to, after eating lunch, to get out of that environment, even for 10 or 15 minutes, take a little walk, go to get some sort of another beverage. For me, it's having a little dark chocolate, just sort of rounded out the day. So I'd get some hot tea and some dark chocolate. So just think of things like that, just to kind of get yourself out of, that cubicle environment. All right, Here we go. Now we're talking about moving our body. Actually, you know what? Hold on. We're going to move our body, but this is about taking 10 minutes of your lunch break to take a walk. So which I just talked about, meaningful, healthy habit. And let me tell you this, one thing is, if you do that 5 days a week, if you just go out and 5 or 10 minute walk, okay, you're getting in an extra, say 50 minutes of exercise. Now that doesn't maybe sound like a lot, but it actually is. So finding, we take some tiny habits and they stack on each other and then they create change. So finding a simple way to add movement to your midday and get the energy infusion you need helps you finish your day well. Okay, now we're going to go into more of an actual movement routine. So helping to devise a feasible plan of action for daily movement is what's going to support you in more ways than you can imagine. So as I mentioned before, those little tiny habits. Well, have you ever thought to yourself that you don't have an hour to spend at the gym? So what's the point? Or an hour and a half at a yoga class? What's the point? It gets simple to have that all or nothing approach, with our mindset when it comes to movement and exercise. And I think it's because the systems are devised to make you spend that hour or hour and a half in some sort of a set environment. But daily routines that add any extra activity to your day will build upon themselves day after day, like I said. So let's take that shift around, where can we fit movement in other ways? So one is to just use your downtime to move. Say you're talking on the phone to a friend or a client. Well, with our, technology now, not that I want you to be distracted while you're talking to people on the phone, but you can get up and walk around a little bit while you're doing it, right? If that phone call ends up being 20 minutes, you've effectively added 20 minutes of walking to your day. See what I mean? Like it makes a difference. Also, just plain walk more. Oh my gosh. I have always been a walker and I'm so grateful now for it. I was a walker more than a runner always. And sometimes I felt a little like, oh gosh, I guess I should be running. But the more and more research that's coming out on walking is incredibly good. So, just walk, just walk more. So do you need to tell someone, that you're working with something, some sort of important information? Well, there's nothing that says you can't take a walk to that department or to that person to let them know the information rather than picking up the phone on your desk. Use the stairs instead of the elevator. And then the one I love is just like park a little further away from the entrance, even here where it's raining a little more. I seldom, try and park right up in front of a store when I'm going in. I'm good. Just, let me walk a little more steps to get inside. And I feel like that kind of does two things. First of all, it helps alleviate some parking spaces for people that maybe need to park close by, and I don't. And then it also just gives me just that little bit more movement. And I appreciate that. Because again, little ways like this, add more steps into our day. It builds up over time. Are you seeing a pattern here? So another thing to think about is, when we are, I think in particular, maybe working from home, we can get really wrapped up in what we're doing and very intense over it. And, we're sitting. I think and because we don't maybe have the interruptions that possibly we would have in a more, office environment, we can just sit and be more sedentary. So breaking yourself from that by setting an alarm, perhaps, again, use our technology for good instead of just mindless scrolling, right? So there's a great little alarms and apps and things like that that can just be your, sort of like your remembering, your little memory to go, oh, You know what? Maybe every 30 minutes while I'm doing this project, I'm going to set my alarm so I get up and move around a little bit, shift, dance, do whatever that feels good. And then I can sit back down and finish up. Creating this habit of movement several times an hour, or several times during a project at least, will just help you keep in motion. All right, this is one I don't think we talk enough about as far as being a healthy habit. And I think that we've now found in the past couple of years how incredibly important connections are to our mental health. It's important to focus on connecting with ourselves, of course, and then connecting with others. And generating a routine around this will help make sure you're doing these things every day. Why is that important? Well, again, humans are social creatures. And we certainly, like I said, found that out when we were having to kind of step back from each other for a couple of years. I know how hard that was. So we need people that we love in our lives. So nurture your relationships with your loved ones and with yourself. Don't forget you will help you feel more connected and grounded. So again, make time for your relationships. We know life is busy and busyness happens. But this is one area of life that can be quickly left off that to-do list. Maybe it's easy to set aside. It doesn't feel quite as important because I've got a list full of tasks that I need to do. But regularly connecting with relationships in your life is crucial for your mental health. So make sure you are adding this into your daily and weekly routine to be intentional about the relationships in your life. Another thing to think about, perhaps this one will spark you, is to get back into your hobbies. The things that you enjoy doing for fun are very important too. Things that bring you pleasure. Choose something that allows you to feel refreshed, whether it's painting, writing, joining in on a sport, all very important things that we should not just set aside. So maybe think about it. What hobbies can you add to your routine so you're filling your creative cup up? Believe it or not, even if you don't think you are, we are very creative people, and women in particular are very creative. We do create life, obviously. So we are creators. So it's important to acknowledge that part of yourself and nurture it. The other thing is to never stop learning. Don't stop learning. It's one way to nurture yourself is to make time for what you care about or are interested in. So these may or may not be hobbies, but maybe this could be spending 15 minutes a day reading a book, listening to a podcast, a book on Audible, taking a free course, or doing something in person like a painting class. When you do this, especially if you get in person or in a course where there's other people that you can, kind of play off of, you're filling your creative cup, but you're also building more connections and you're learning more about yourself. So all very important. All right, let's go to the final one, last but certainly not least. This is all about sleep. I don't have to tell you the importance of a sound sleep routine. I mean, again, study after study after study now is just showing how incredibly important sleep is. I know that I went through kind of a crisis this last year. I was caring for my mom who had Alzheimer's for 6 years. And especially towards the end, I was becoming very sleep deprived. I was kind of hyper alert in listening for her. She was doing a lot of wandering, and Alzheimer's just brings up some very different behaviors in people. And so it was getting very difficult for me to get any kind of a good night's sleep. I was up a couple times, 3 times maybe a night. And that is not good for our health. And it certainly wasn't good for mine. And I ended up at the end of the day with adrenal fatigue. And so talk about having to come up with some new healthy habits and behaviors. I had to do it very quickly. So just know that adequate sleep is imperative to your health. Not enough people are emphasizing this. So I want you to emphasize it for yourself. And I know life circumstances vary person by person. We're all not afforded the freedom of choosing our bedtime and sleeping in to catch up on rest. I get it. We've got families, especially if you've got young children. I still remember those days, of course. Our jobs demand us, or like myself, I had to, take care of an elderly parent. Life happens, right? And that's okay. We can still work with the time that we have to develop a healthy, restful sleep routine. And again, why is it important for this? Well, you can do everything else right with your diet and exercise. And I was, doing pretty decent, although frankly, lots of things slid a little bit towards the end. But if you're not sleeping enough, you're really setting yourself back. I know I was getting incredibly fatigued, brain fog, making mistakes on things that I shouldn't have made mistakes on. Just, all kinds of things were kind of just falling apart. So it can really be that drastic. So the first thing is to maybe set a sleep schedule. Our bodies flourish with a sleep schedule. So having a set time you want to go to bed. So maybe you set, hey, 10 o'clock is my max. Like I need to be Netflix done, other chores done, like 10 o'clock, lights out. And then maybe when you wake up. So maybe you want to be up at 6. And of course, depending on your work schedule for the following day, that might, kind of create what your schedule is there. But having a set time you go to bed and wake up will help your body just get into a groove, and it will help you feel rested and rejuvenated. So that's kind of a good benchmark. And again, you can use your phone, to alert you when it's time to start winding down at night. So you can get in bed by your allotted bedtime. Our minds and bodies like to know, like, okay, again, for the routine, like, okay, if you want to be in bed, say by 10, well, maybe by 9:30, it's like, oh, okay, like set your timer. All right, I've got this next half hour just to kind of start winding down. That tells your brain that we're starting to settle in here. It's getting towards bedtime. We're going to go to sleep. Okay. So try doing something relaxing in that time frame. So take a shower or a bath maybe before bed if you like to do that. Something very, with some beautiful bath salts, therapeutic salts, beautiful bath oils. Put on, some just a nice aromatherapy. Maybe put a diffuser on of essential oils in your room. I love to do that. I love to have crystals in a dish next to me. All those things can kind of help make you feel a little pampered, a little sleepier. Maybe put on some soothing music, read, journal, again, whatever makes you feel good to unwind. And try to ditch the electronics and only do things that are restful, relaxing, and helping you unwind. Again, this is the goal, okay? I know it's not always you're not always able to achieve this, but this is the goal. We're just trying to get our body and our mind ready for rest. It does make a difference. And then try and stay away from blue light. So when your phone tells you that it's time to get ready for bed, start dimming your devices. And if you can help it, don't look at them again till morning. Dim lights in general, so that your body gets the signal again that it's time for sleep. Maybe you just have a soft candle on or something. And I know that it can be difficult to disconnect from our devices, but that's why it's important to do so. Now, I do make an exception for myself. This is just me, and this is whatever you want to do. But I do have my cell phone on my nightstand. And the reason I do is because I take that Insight Timer app and I do a yoga nidra meditation every night at bedtime. And yoga nidra is the yogic of sleep. So it is a very relaxing meditation. You just lie down in your bed in corpse pose. You just allow the facilitator to guide you. You don't have to do anything. And I generally find I fall asleep with it, but it's still going on in the background. So I do that. I do turn my phone over so I'm not seeing the light. It may not be exactly ideal, but for myself, I have found that it's more important that I go off to sleep than to lie there awake with a squirrely brain. Okay. So that's one of the things that really helps me. So you create the system that works for you. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Again, we've kind of just gone through a day in the life. And maybe this has given you just a few areas that you'd like to work on. This is work, these habits and routines that I will be doing a lot more of. And I'm creating some more kind of workshops, programs, and things around it. So if this is something that speaks to you or you'd like some extra help with, know that you can reach out to me and I'll make sure to share what other extra information I have for you. And we'll just take it from there. Okay. So thank you for being here with me today. I hope you've learned something and I so appreciate you. Take care. Bye.